Hi, my name is Brent Smith, and today I'm going to be telling you something a little bit about seal script and talking about a seal script work that I did. So to start off, a brief history of seal script. So to start, seal script is made up of two different styles. There's great seal script and small seal script. The work that I'm going to be presenting to you is small seal script, and what you're seeing right now is called Oracle Bone script, and it's a category of the great seal script. It's called bone script because, as you can see, these characters were carved into bones, like tortoise shells and ox scapula. And it was developed during the Zhou and Qin dynasties. It was around a little bit longer than that, but that's when the script was mostly developed. The characters are largely pictographic, and what that means is that each character represents a physical idea or a thing, unlike some of the more modern day scripts where we have characters now that don't necessarily translate to a physical thing. This script was used for a lot of things, but its most interesting use, I think, was in divination. So people would go up to an oracle and they would have a question, and they would carve this question using seal script into some kind of bone, and they would give it to the oracle, who would then heat up this bone until it would crack and fissures would form. And based on where these fissures formed, the oracle would read it and answer the person's question. These questions could be anything from military strategy to where to hunt to when should certain dates be for festivals, anything really. It was also used for ceremonial and official documents, and like its namesake, seal script, it was used for seals and things like that. Nowadays, it's more of an artistic thing. You don't really see it used very much other than in calligraphy and other art because it looks nice and it's can be used. Some people use it to put like a seal on their name. So, what are some characteristics of seal script? The characters are rectangular, very tall and slender. Their strokes are smooth. There aren't any angular strokes in seal script. The characters are also all equally sized, and there's no variation of thickness. The reason for no variation of thickness is that seal script was usually used in very hard surfaces like wood or metal or bone, and so it's very, very difficult to get a variation of thickness when you're carving it into a rock as compared to using a brush. The characters are also symmetrical, so if you were to divide any seal script character in half, usually each side would look the same. There are obviously some exceptions to this rule, but for the most part, they're symmetrical. So the brush techniques that are used in seal script, you have the reverse or concealed tip. And the way you do this is when you put your brush down on the paper, you go back and circle and to cover your initial tip. And this is to make the stroke look more smooth and rounded. And then there's also center tip, and what that basically means is you want to keep the brush vertical and in the center of the stroke. Unlike some scripts like running or cursive script, you do not want to be moving freely around to where you're not in the center of the stroke. So now we'll look at my work. So this work basically translates to travel 1,000 miles in a day, and that's basically like a ancient Chinese goal. So you want to be able to walk 1,000 miles in one day. Obviously, that would be impossible, but it's more or less a kind of like a shoot for the stars. The first character is written top right and top down. So you see top right, that's the character for sun in seal script, and you can see all the modern day equivalents on the right. So the main difference you can see between the character for sun or day is in the inside. There's a very squiggly line in seal script, but in the modern day it's just a straight horizontal line. And you can see that it's also very rounded. And actually the way this character is it's actually written in halves. So you do like the left half and the right half, and then you do the center part. You can notice again, like I mentioned before, there's not much variation of thickness on these. And you can see some exceptions to this, but that's my technique, not the actual script. You can also see the way these characters look. When I mentioned earlier that they're largely pictographic, you can kind of see that. These characters are very easy to kind of tell what they are kind of supposed to represent, especially the one on the bottom right, which means travel. You can see that kind of looks like a human person with a really weird head. These characters at the top, at the top left, the smaller ones, those are just the date and my name. So the top two characters mean 2020, and then it means autumn under that, and then under that is my name, which is Sebin. So Seal script in general, I found it much more easy to write with. It was more fun, I think, because with regular script you have to focus so much on the angular strokes and the variation of thickness, but this one was much more fun because it was just very rounded, very simple to write. And I think the characters are just more fun to write in general for Seal script. But thank you for coming to my presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to just reply to the discussion forum. Thank you.